Hey, it's Jordan with the Young Turks, TYT Politics. I'm here on my couch in the darkness of night in New York City. I got a nice crowd around, some friends, some colleagues here for the week. But important to keep Puerto Rico in the news. Unfortunately, our corporate media, if they cannot find ties to Vladimir Putin causing the hurricane, it's not important anymore. But obviously, two massive hurricanes, tropical cyclone system hit Puerto Rico in a matter of, a matter of a week, the two hurricanes?
Yeah, it was about a week.
In September, Donald Trump went down for half a day and said he's terrific and super great. Press the share button, get it out. I'm here with Paula Martinez.
Fuck Trump and his paper towels.
Okay. I'm here with Paula Martinez Benj. I actually interviewed her in Kentucky a couple months ago at a Bernie rally, and actually one of the TYT viewers was nice enough was inspired by things you said.
Yeah.
Paid off your student loan, so thank you, sir. But you're in New York, and you are a Puerto Rican. You live in Kentucky, but you have family there. You've been following it closely, and you've been pretty much as enraged, probably more enraged, that I have, because it's fallen off the map completely.
Well, yeah, it's been over 50 days. 80% of Puerto Ricans still don't have power. People don't have regular access to clean running water. Elementary schools are still closed. There's no sense of normalcy on the island at all. And people are literally getting water still over 50 days after Hurricane Maria hit, because it hit September 20th.
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
On the side of the road, there was a...
It's your birthday today.
Yeah, I'm 26.
Go ahead.
Today is my 26th birthday. But anyway, so there's a broken pipe on the side of the road that people are getting water from. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. The United States government's neglect of their colonial territory is... It's a crime against humanity. Even the UN, it's like, what are you doing, America? You need to be keeping up with your colony. I got a lot of opinions. I got a lot of feelings.
Well, let's update people.
All right.
So they say, I don't know, the official count the media has been giving is between 50 and 60 people dead. I think that is a gross understatement of how many people have died. I think that, unfortunately, there's been dead bodies that have kind of been drifting that they haven't been able to find. From what people on the ground tell you there, what's the closer approximation of death?
All right, so there's two different, from actual like news outlets too. So my family tells me that their friends' loved ones have passed away. I haven't had any loved ones pass away that I know, and I'll explain that in a second. So the count is 51. That's the official count. There's been 911 cremations from September 20th until sometime in mid-October. All right.
Where's that number coming from?
There was a report from BuzzFeed that came directly from funeral directors and, people working on cadavers and things like that. On top of that, so it was like 911 cremations, 117 people, and this is according to Latino Rebels, and they are looking at reports from the island, are missing. 117 people are unaccounted for. So you add those numbers together, and we're assuming that those people are dead because it's been over 50 days.
And by the way, it's not only, obviously, people died in the actual storm, but the humidity, I mean, you could say it better than I, the humidity there with a gross need for water, if you're dehydrated for days and days and days without enough water, you can die. And there's been reports of that. There's been reports of still dialysis machines not working because
there's no power, there's no electricity. And also the generators use diesel. So if there's not diesel coming on the island, if there's not, they put the Jones Act back on. So the 10-day waiver is over. So any aid coming from all over the world, global aid, it's not getting to the island. The FEMA donations that people sent are still at the San Juan ports. They're still at the, and Bayamon and the San Juan ports, the airports, and the seaports. So none of this aid is getting to anyone who actually needs it. And there is Defend Puerto Rico, who's working on trying to get the aid released to completely waive the Jones Act, period. But
I just want to remind people the Jones Act was put in many, many decades ago, and essentially makes it that only U.S. ships can bring in, resources and supplies to Puerto Rico's ports.
Yeah.
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 And they waived it during Hurricane Harvey in Texas and Hurricane, what was the one in Florida? The Hurricane Norma in Florida, Irma in Florida, and they waived it right away. They waived it after 2 weeks.
Are you talking about the Jones Act?
Yeah. Right away they waived it. No, they waived, I don't know if it was the Jones Act, but they waived in Texas and Florida right away shipping restrictions.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Right.
Got you.
But for Puerto Rico, Trump waited 2 weeks and only, I think, made an exception for what, a week or so?
It was 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, if you've ever read Naomi Klein, she's with The Intercept, the shock doctrine, they always use these types of catastrophes as an opportunity for their version of capitalism, shall we say. That would be the government. So now you got good old Louis Gohmert, Texas congressman. He has, in the past, I got a list of doozies here for you. In the past, he has said gays will die if you put them on a desert island. So if you're gay, don't go to a desert island. The Supreme Court thinks it's Jesus because it legalized same-sex marriage. This is your representative, Texas. Appointing an openly gay Army secretary is like approving of child rape. Was one of his infamous ones. Christians are being persecuted even though they're 71% of the U.S. population. I don't know. I'm against gun control because gay marriage leads to sex with animals.
Yeah.
This is Louis Gohmert.
He's fucking trash. He's
Yeah.
trash.
And if you let gays in the military, they'll massage each other and will be too relaxed to win wars. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because this is
It's
a
so
congressperson.
outrageous. Yeah.
I think he's a psycho, and I think now, Louis Gohmert made the suggestion, I guess this week, that apparently Puerto Rico has the potential of being the Hong Kong of the United States, where business would flood in there. Poor choice of words with flood, Louis. So basically, as the Intercept headline says, they want to make Puerto Rico now into a fossil fuel park and take advantage of the tragedy and the catastrophe there. Not actually try to help rebuild it, basically try to use it to extend the life of fossil fuels. Extract more oil, extract more natural gas, crude oil. Maybe they want to do some mining too while they're at it. Hong Kong, in this case, The Intercept writes, is code for lax labor laws and low taxes on corporations and the wealthy, an economy structured mainly around pleasing the private sector. You know what that's also called? Fascist governments. That's what that's also called. If Tuesday's hearing was any indication, that's exactly the path that a cadre of House Republicans and federally appointed officials in Puerto Rico are eager to take the island down post-Hurricane Maria with a special eye towards fossil fuel development. It's not the first time Gohmert has made such a claim. On Tuesday, congressional representatives heard from Executive Director of Puerto Rico's Fiscal Oversight Board, a body installed by Congress in summer 2016. In hearings in the lead-up to the bill's passage, Gohmert was more explicit about the idea he reiterated this week. Puerto Rico ought to be the model for how free markets could work. It could be the United States' Hong Kong because there is no federal income tax. All it would need is to streamline and not have such a bloated government.
The government that the United States government put in place because of Promesa, right? Here's a common misconception. So, Rosello, the governor of Puerto Rico, is part of the PNP party, which is the Republican Party on the island. So he's a Trump supporter. All right, with that being said, in August of 2016, Promesa was passed by the Obama administration, which we call it La Junta Fiscal, like the people, a colonial power that controls what ways we can spend our tax dollars on the island of Puerto Rico. So there were 7 individuals that were appointed by the Obama administration. So the Puerto Rican government has no control, has no voting power at all. So anytime any of these representatives say anything about Puerto Ricans are mismanaging funds, da da da. It's the United States government that is mismanaging the funds, not the Puerto Rican people.
And why is it that this tragedy, if Puerto Rico is part of the United States, which the United States imposed upon them, why is this a business opportunity for fossil fuel expansion? Why isn't Puerto Rico being treated like Texas, like Houston, like Texas, like Florida, like New York years ago, even though, frankly, talk to people in Texas and Florida right now and New York from years ago, they weren't exactly, recipients of a prompt government response either. And by the way, they should be, because if the government had a brain, and this was going on in Obama's administration too, you should be preparing for these, since you're not doing a damn thing about climate change. But of course, Obama's administration has not funded FEMA and other programs to the necessary lengths. And of course, Trump's has been trying to cut FEMA actually from day one. But what's startling to me about this is you basically have, they're essentially admitting that they want to implement fascism. You know, people get a little tight about me using the word fascism, but when the government essentially sets the conditions through tyranny to basically bolster up corporations, especially in crisis situations, Hitler, World War II, that's fascism. Am I incorrect?
Well, I want to add something to that too. So with disaster capitalism, this is what happened with Hurricane Katrina. This is exactly 1,800 people died in Hurricane Katrina. 911 people have been cremated on the island without the knowledge of their loved ones. People don't even know that their loved ones are being cremated and that they're dying. So these areas in New Orleans, there was a mass exodus of people of color, of poor people, of all these communities in this area, and the area gets gentrified. That's what disaster capitalism is. These corporations are taking advantage of the disaster, of these people's hardships, that they don't have any money, that they can't rebuild there, so they have to move and find somewhere else to live. And that's vital too. That, yes, Trump is a fascist, he's a Nazi sympathizer, and he's trash. Gomor is trash. They're freaking trash. But at the same time, this is something that's been happening in this country for a long time to the poor and to people of color.
And what other doozies did he say? So another representative said, Hurricane Maria, gives us the opportunity to bring Puerto Rico's infrastructure into the 21st century. How can innovative energy technologies such as fuel cells that utilize our nation's resources of clean burning natural gas be used to revitalize the Puerto Rico energy grid? Glenn Thompson, representative of Pennsylvania, asked board representatives of Congress's role. Thompson is co-chair of the House Natural Gas Caucus. So they're going to, I guess, start putting pipelines all over the place and fracking wells and all over. So adding to the already contaminated water that's been found all over Puerto Rico, including
and the Superfund sites,
including animal urine-based bacteria that's been spreading. It starts with an L.
Lestoprices, something like that.
Yeah.
Lestoprices.
That's already killed multiple people, and the health director there has said they fear upwards of 75 people might be affected now. And that was a week ago I read that, so who knows now. They got animal-borne bacteria, and they also have bacteria coming from hazardous waste sites.
So there was an outbreak of conjunctivitis in Louisa. There's Zika virus. There's fears of Zika virus coming back. There's cases of dengue fever.
What's dengue fever?
Dengue fever, it's like a tropical illness. It gives you real high fever, and sometimes you need hospitalization. And there's no hospitals. They're not open. They're not fully operational. And another part of this too is the electric. Sure, 20% of electric is on, right? But it comes and goes. It doesn't stay. So, what you checking out?
And also, now, instead of the president and his administration actually going in there and doubling the efforts to rescue people to rebuild. Now they're just saying, let's just fly them out. We'll fly them to New York. We'll fly them to Florida.
Yep.
And
All right.
we'll put them in shelters.
Mm-hmm. So 3,000 people FEMA is paying for 3,000 Puerto Ricans to go to Central Florida and to New York. There's local reports in Florida proposing, there's so many Puerto Ricans coming to Central Florida, that there are local reports saying, oh, we should have a tent city for these climate change refugees by our airport in Central Florida. This is like a solution to this problem of this mass exodus of people coming in.
So, a few things. Gohmert, who besides being crazy, he's not above just being bought off, too.
Yeah.
So he's bought off. Let them know about Mr. Gohmert's financial ties to the oil and gas industry. Again, if you're from Texas, this is Louis Gohmert representing District 1 in the Lone Star State. And he's been a congressman, looks like he's been in town since 2003. Top industries donations. He has gotten top 5. You got retired, which is just a bunch of Republican rich people. Then the second one is health professionals, which is healthcare. 3, oil and gas. He's gotten $426,254 from oil and gas. And obviously, Texas is number 1 in oil and gas production. North Dakota's 2. So Louis knows where his bread is buttered. Besides being batshit crazy, he knows where his bread is buttered. So he's basically saying for his donors, hey, screw these brown people. We'll just fucking build a theme park there. Frack, pipelines, maybe some mining. Maybe we'll toss in whatever new, energy saving mechanism they come up with in this decade, and the people will suffer more than they have suffered already. So it's not even environmental racism. This is just racism. It's just racism straight up. I mean, the different response. I mean, they didn't respond for the people in New Orleans, that's for sure. They are barely responding for the people in Texas and Florida, based on the people I've spoken with. But at least they still have a pretty large basis of people from FEMA in Texas right now and Florida. Most reports are saying they're taking people out of Puerto Rico.
I got something to say about FEMA and the military in Puerto Rico. They are nowhere to be found. All my family on the island, they live in the metro area in San Juan, in Rio Piedras. They have not seen anyone from FEMA. It's been over 50 days. It's been over a month and a half. How ridiculous is this? That no one has seen the U.S. military, no one has seen FEMA. And when they do, they're gambling. They're downtown having a party. Because honestly, they are making it a fossil fuel theme park. Oh.
Keep going.
They are making this like a fossil fuel theme park, but they have made it a theme park for Americans to just crap all over, especially the U.S. like the leaders, the military, FEMA people. They're already having a party.
And before we close, a few of you asked, we are going to send somebody to Puerto Rico. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be me. I don't know if it's going to be Emma. I don't know if it's going to be Nomi. It might be, honestly, I've been talking to some higher ups there at the Young Turks about maybe even an army of TYT people. But we will be going there. I am actually going to be off most of the month of December, so my goal is to have somebody there before then so we could keep this in the spotlight. But I think really what the takeaway is, Republicans and some Democrats try to profit off of most disasters, so that's nothing new. The difference is they don't care that this is still a disaster. At least in other cases, they try to put some kind of, for appearance's sake, efforts out there to make it look like they're trying to fix it. That's not happening in Puerto Rico anymore. You don't hear about it in the news. You don't hear the administration talking about it. And frankly, all the reports I see are about bacteria spreading further, about the death count going up, about, 80 or so percent still without electricity?
It's 80%.
Right.
And the electricity that is there comes and goes.
Right. And of course, you had the scandal with the, whatever you want to call it, the
Whitefish.
the Trump friendly bid that went to a company that has no business working in Puerto Rico. So we'll stay on it. Anything else you want to say, birthday girl?
Oh, thank you guys for listening, and just share this, and please keep Puerto Rico in your minds, and just keep your head up.
Later.